Hey guys, welcome back. It's me, the Punic Curse, playing here and as the Green, and I'll be playing as the Slavs today. And my teammate is Vlad, the Impaler of your mom, who is playing as the Malay, and he hails from Australia. And then in the red we have Wild Boar, who is from Vietnam, and they are playing as the Aztecs. And then in the yellow we have Nam Long DL, who is also from Vietnam, and he's playing as the Persians. So Vlad had an idea of slinging the resources to your teammate on a game like Arena. And so we tried it a couple times. Didn't always work, but it worked on this map. And this time, as the Slavs, I'm going to be the one slinging to him. And as Malay, he is going to produce not only elephants, but also their food-only two-handed swordsmen. So I'm going to speed it up a little bit. Early arena games tend to be pretty standard. There's not a whole lot going on until a little bit later. Now, he actually did go for somewhat of a similar strategy previously, and that game was cast by another YouTuber by the name of Poop Lord. And I think his teammate was Kumans. But I feel like this one went really well. It was really hard fought. These Vietnamese guys are tenacious. They don't give up. And we had a little talk, I think, with Yellow after the game, and he just seemed like a really nice guy. I'm always happy whenever we can have a game, win or lose, and have a little conversation afterwards about it. So, pretty standard so far. Vlad, of course, milling his deer, or ibex, as he is known to do. And that's about it for right now. Just waiting for time to elapse. So I'm going to build up my defenses, because if I'm the only eco for blue, because at some point he's going to just transition into full military, I need to make sure that I can keep that military going, or keep that military going by sending him as much eco as I can, as many resources. And I can't do that if I am attacked, so I have to make sure that being attacked and pushed is not a problem. And all of us are on our way up to feudal now. Putting down some lumber camps here. And I picked the Slavs because of their farming bonus. Just insane how well the Slavic farms do. And Vlad reaches Imperial first, then myself, then followed by Yellow, and lastly by Red. Getting some farms down already. And Blue is on his way to castle. So yeah, he's trying to get a castle there. Excuse me, he will prioritize getting a castle up, getting his unique tech for the food-only two-handed swordsman. And once my eco is solid, I will be slinging him my resources. By the end of this game, we'll check the resources, but it is just shy of 200,000 resources that I sent to him. Pretty insane. And red is on his way to castle as well. And I'm on the way to castle. And blue is dropping his first castle. I'm gonna drop it right on red's face. Also, another thing is, at some point I will eventually get into having a co-host for when I cast these videos, and he can see that if he's looking. No response yet, but I figure it would be cool to have two people's perspective on casting a game, and it also gives you just more to talk about. Because sometimes there's not a whole lot to talk about, especially in the early game. And there's the reaction from red, but it's probably going to be a little too late. Yeah, rip. Not a problem. Not a problem for red. He's just going to wall behind it. And I'm in Castle Age now. Yellow is on his way. Red still has not clicked up yet. Getting my eco upgrades for farm and wood. So yeah, blue's got this castle on his face. He's got collecting stone here. But there's another wall behind it, and that's got to be disappointing. Unfortunately, these Crambit warriors have nowhere to go. And he really needs a couple petards maybe to push through that. Yellow going into archers. He is now in Castle Age. As Persians, I'm sure he's probably thinking about going into trash bows. Got my second TC up. I think at this point I'm starting to sling resources to blue. Getting will yeah. And the nice thing about this is when you get one player going all eco and one player going all military, you don't have as much redundancy as far as the resources being spent. Like, I don't have to get all the eco upgrades and him get all the eco upgrades, just me. I don't have to get all the attack upgrades, just him. So it helps in that respect. I am sending a monk out here to collect this relic. It's really close to my base. And no one's really gone for the relic, so I figured, why not? And because we know this strategy can take a while to work, getting a wall up between our bases, that way we can get some solid trade, some secure trade. And yellow going on the defensive here with a defensive castle, kind of protecting the front of his base. Perhaps worried that I was going to castle drop him as well, like blue did to red. But that is not the case. And unfortunately, petards and Crambit warriors are coming all the way over to my base. I'm kind of running around. I would like to see that petard push through maybe the front gate here. Or actually, even better, if you came around the backside and then set the Crambit warriors on the wood line. That would be pretty devastating. I took out yellow's scout, it looks like. And yellow is on his way to imp. Blue running in with Crambit warriors. I think that was a misclick from what I remember. Not realizing the castle was there. I remember flaring a lot, trying to give him a heads up. And he is attacking the side here, trying to punish yellow for being greedy and going for imp so early. Two castles on red's face. One defensive castle just in case yellow tries to hit him. Red is on his way to imp as well. So both the Vietnamese players will be inside of imp much sooner than Vlad and myself. But there's a method to the madness as the farm numbers continue to increase. Yellow's going for a second defensive castle. And getting conscription right away. A lot of this game, even though I played it, a lot of this game will be relatively new to me just to see, because I was so focused on getting my economy going, and every chance that okay, yeah, there we go. I wonder why it says wild boar sent stuff to me. Yeah, that's, I don't know if that's correct or not, because I don't think he should be sending anything to me. But I was so focused on sending my resources as soon as I got them to Vlad that I really didn't, only looked at the fighting here and there. And I'm almost in Imperial Age, and Red decided to go for Elite Jaguar Warrior, which, I mean, so far he's been fighting Karambit Warriors. It makes sense, I guess. But it's a costly upgrade, and it's not going to be very effective against elephants when they start coming out. However, Vlad is going to be making two-handed swordsmen, so that will do well against those. And the first Treb is out. Looks like Yellow does have trash bows now. And so Blue's getting pushed back a little bit. He has this defensive castle. He has another defensive castle coming up here. He is coming over here with war elephants and still Karambit warriors. Which, unless you're raiding, I don't know if I would keep making the Karambit warriors. But the elephants are good. We'll trade well against these crossbows, except for the crossbows don't cost any gold. That's why I keep calling them trash bows. So I keep expanding my economy. With one defensive castle and 3, 4 TCs. Yeah, working at my 4th TC now. And I am pumping out some trebuchets for Blue, because currently Blue does not have trebuchets. He's not in imp yet. And unfortunately, it looks like the forward position here is going to go down for Blue. But that's okay. I've got another defensive castle coming up over here, regrouping our army over here, and got some trebs. And all that stone was taken. And Blue is finally going up to Imperial Age, which is going to help out a lot. Getting supplies now, and the militia line upgrades as we make the tech into the two-handed swordsman. Which, by the way, if you're playing as Bulgarians or Malay, which have really strong two-handed swordsmen, Bulgarians because of Bagans or Bagains, or however you say it, which gives them an extra +5 melee armor. But then the Malay, they just get it because they're strong because they don't have some gold, which you can upgrade. One castle down so far. Yellow with some priests, which are a good counter against elephants, but you have to be able to defend them. So yeah, oh yeah, anyway, that the recent buff that came from the two-handed swordsman, though, is that longsword and two-handed swords now get that extra melee armor that only champions used to get. So if you have a civ that doesn't get champions, only two-handed swordsman, then it's automatically stronger. So using that to our advantage, it's not a huge thing, but whenever you're producing food only, two-handed swordsmen that have an additional melee armor definitely comes in handy. So let's see. Looks like for villagers, red has 80, yellow has 76. I have 137, and blue has 64. Because he is not prioritizing eco at all. He's basically making enough eco to kind of support himself a little bit, still have villagers to make production buildings, and still collect resources when they're not idle. we are getting pushed back a little bit here. I had to pull my trebs back after losing a couple of them because the elephants were out of position. Thankfully, I have a defensive castle here, and I do build a couple boyars, which, you know, just a strong tanky unit. And I'm trying to really wall up my base and make it where it's not easy for them to get into. The farms keep getting added. Blue with 3 defensive castles now. Still collecting gold. And the elephants are in the elite battle elephants. And Red just has Jaguar Warriors, which, I mean, they're ran against pikes. Jaguar Warriors are pretty good, but they're good against infantry. Not so much against elite battle elephants. And I'm hoping that this two-handed swordsman upgrade comes in soon. Right now it's just long swordsman. Because the Jaguar Warriors will trade very well against those. Alright, two-handed swordsman is in. Yellow's still trying to get conversions on elephants. And that castle, surprisingly, will stay up. Yellow trying to get it repaired as quickly as possible. And the war elephants are strong, but when they're outnumbered and there's a lot of pikes mixed in, ideally you want war elephants fighting jaguar warriors and two-handed swordsmen fighting pikes. But whenever you have a ton of military, it can be hard to keep an eye on it. Right now, he has 35 war elephants and 38, and some two-handed swordsmen. Trying to get those numbers up, but they're so costly, so expensive, and you know he's really relying on just me to produce as much eco as possible. Getting the trade cards up as well. At one point, I will have 200 villagers. This is a ranked game, so we are capped at 200. And there's a little bit of a score shift with us taking the lead now. Yellow really trying to recover after getting almost devastated by war elephants. I don't know if he's still expecting another attack there, but he has a lot of trebs and army just sitting there. And red's really booming. Like, you have to... The Aztec eco is strong. With that extra +3 carrying, just strong. And these trash two-handed swordsmen are coming in and doing good work. I wonder if I'll lose these trebs. I know at some point I do. Yeah. Not enough army to protect them, unfortunately. The trebs are going down. Back home, still adding more. Trying to get my trade up. At some point I will add several markets. And red researching fervor. Yellow getting his final or his second, yeah, his final armor upgrade, cavalier and husbandry. Interesting. And they are getting a lot of production buildings up. Kind of restabilizing a little bit. Ideally, I feel like that's a lot of houses. I feel like if yellow and red had set up trade between them, and yellow just pumped Persian war elephants with the trash bows, it'd be really, really, really hard to push. A little bit of a lull going on in the fighting here. Red actually sending some trebuchets forward, unprotected. Those are going to go down. Kind of a ballsy move there. And the war elephant numbers are finally up. 46 units doesn't normally sound like a lot, but 46 fully upgraded, or almost fully upgraded, elite battle elephants. Yeah, that's a lot of military. Taking a big fight here against Red. And coming out on top. I feel like these monks, if there was more of them and they were making conversions, we could have gone a different way, but instead using them to heal his own troops. And Yellow's sending in some halves. I would like to see the elephants pulled back and the two-handed swordsmen handle them. But even so, it looks like the elephants are pretty well against these halves. We need a lot of halves to take down the extra hit points on an elephant. And yellow is building another forward defensive castle. And blue won that engagement, and Red is still trickling out army. Yellow sending another wave of halves. Might be enough, considering some of these elephants are already pretty weak. And blue mixing in some scouts, or light cav. Not going to do much against halves. 2 more castles coming down. I am slinging in pretty much every resource I have. Including stone. And got a second market up, trying to get more trade cards out. And just so many freaking farms. I also have 3 relics, which I think by the time we were done, I ended up getting all the relics from Red. He had 2 of them. And it was like 5,000 relic gold, which isn't bad. Comes in handy. And blue mixing in some skirms and some arbs against these trash bows and infantry that Red has, and really spamming out these production buildings as well. You love to see it. Trade still making its way. Ideally, maybe that house should have been deleted. That way there's a little bit less, maybe even more of this, so it's not as impeded. Both sides amassing a decent amount of army. The main thing, the one difficult thing about having one player go full army is that player basically has to get all the upgrades, because at any time, if he needs to tech into something else, it's on him. You need arbs all of a sudden? Well, that's too bad. You get it yourself. Infantry? Too bad. Get it yourself. Same thing. For everything, basically. He has to be able to have every upgrade and every production building possible in case he needs to fight or counter whatever it is, and if he doesn't have it. I am up to 180 villagers now, and about 110, 115 for blue military. So ideally what we want is somewhere between like 180, 190 military for blue and 200 villagers for myself. And at this point, I'm collecting this forward gold. Yellow coming out here to get it means that he's probably cleared up most of the gold in his base, which means he's running low. Got 3 tiles here. So not only do I want to deny that gold from him, but I also want to keep collecting the gold for myself. So at some point, I'm going to queue up a few more boyars and send them down here to get rid of Yellow's vills and keep it for myself. And Yellow going for Paladin. I don't think Paladin on Arena is viable unless you have a trade route set up. You have to have a way to keep bringing that gold in. Otherwise, it's a pretty costly upgrade for not a whole lot. Blue really pushing hard with these trash two-handed swordsmen and some arbs and skirms. But he's going to have a little bit of an issue with all these halves, soon-to-be paladins, and trash bows. He has full upgrades on everything except for his archers and arbs. Or his arbs and skirms have one less defensive upgrade to get. I have full eco upgrades and 192 villagers, so almost there. Almost there. And just an insane amount of farms. You have to admit, though, that's it's pretty good looking, actually. Like, I'm pretty proud of this base. It's only going to get more farms as we go along. Red has a lot of farms too, though. And a pretty well protected base. Blue really trying to push in here. And red, desperate for gold, is going to build a mining camp forward. There's only 103 gold here to collect. Ends up having to abandon it. Down here, the Boyars did kill Yellow's vills, push him off of gold, and protected that gold for myself. Yellow's down to one last tile of gold here. And this is why, at some point, if you're going to make gold-intensive units, you're going to need to have some kind of trade set up. Blue coming in here with these two-handed swordsmen. And Blue deciding to go for the capped ram versus trebuchets. Capped rams, you can just fill them with two-handed swordsmen and rush them around and really push. Lots of arbs over here. And Blue just causing havoc. And look at that. I don't understand why Yellow decided to get the Paladin upgrade, but then build Elite War Elephants, which also are an expensive upgrade. Like, do I like how they trade against two-handed swordsmen? Absolutely, but like, you don't have trade. There's a finite amount of gold available on this map. So at some point, you're going to run out of gold to produce paladins or elite war elephants if you don't get trade up. And Blue fighting Yellow's castle with petards and two-handed swordsmen. I mean, whenever you have a Slavic economy to sling you food, and your two-handed swordsmen only cost food, I guess why not? That's kind of a throwaway right there. Standing within castle range. But there's so much going on. Blue has 134 military units right now. I have 193 villagers and 7 military right now. So I'm fully popped capped, and he's got 188, 190. Yeah, so he's almost pop capped constantly, fighting against it while he's producing these units. Trade continuing. And I'm going to add a third market, I believe, at some point. Yes, no, maybe so. Continuing to refresh my lumber camps. Proud of myself on that. I do believe I add a third market at some point. And the farms and the lumber camps just keep going up. And Blue deciding to get Elite Crambit Warrior. I'm not sure, unless you're using it as a raiding unit, why to get that upgrade. But when you have as many resources as we had being slung to them, there's no reason not to, I guess. And the rams are coming in. Just a small heads up to people that may not know, if you put your infantry in the ram like this, your ram actually moves faster. I don't know why having people in a ram would make it move faster, wouldn't actually weigh it down, but it does. And these rams they have two purposes. One purpose is to take down the buildings, but the other purpose is just to soak up the archer fire while you take out the archers. The only concern that I have right now is there's a lot of rams and not a lot of infantry around here. So these rams could potentially go down to these Persian war elephants if not protected quickly. And arms fighting against skirms. Looks like Red's trying to lure him to get under castle fire. Messy fighting there. Yeah, and Blue had to pull back, get these rams out of here. The war elephants, which was too much. Building some barracks over here so they can spam some infantry in. And the map has pretty much been stripped of resources. Just a tiny little bit of gold right there. 180, 170. And a little bit of stone right here that I'm collecting. Other than that, it's now down to your lumber camps, your farms, and your trade. And Vlad is getting the Onager upgrade, which will really help against his trash bows. And the gate goes down. These Captain Rams really doing a good job taking down some of these buildings. The constant flow of units. I'm at 198, he's at 180, 190-ish. Yeah, so we're pretty much pop capped the whole time. Red is sitting at about 100 and change, right around 100 right now, and Blue at about 120. So we have a lot more units than them now, and the score kind of reflects that. But these guys aren't, like I said, they're tenacious. They don't give up. And I can sympathize with them. I've fought plenty of times where I know I had no chance, and I just hoping, wishing, dreaming for a comeback. But the only comeback you're going to get is if you have trade. There's no other way. If the game is going to go late on Arena, you've got to get trade up. If it's a 2v2, or 3v3, 4v4, it's a team game. Because we're going to keep being able to produce petards, rams, cavalier, arbs, and even of course our trash too, and swordsman with Ancos's food. And you're not going to be able to produce anything but trash bows and skirms and stuff like that. Halbs. And it's the beginning of the end here. Red had, he must have run the town bell, I'm assuming, because he's got both TCs garrison. If you guys aren't aware of this, do not ring your town bell unless you absolutely have to. I still sometimes ring it if I'm like freaking out for a second, but like try not to ring it, because when you do that, it will garrison villagers and all your TCs. Instead of just where they need to be, and you're going to lose a lot of eco and have a lot of delayed economy. EC goes down, Blue is in on the wood lines here. Yellow's still fighting, he's got a few war elephants left. a little bundle of trash bows. And the problem, I think, right now, the reason why he's not being completely overwhelmed is because Blue is streaming his military and really needs to set a collection point where they can get a ball of military instead. He killed my monk. Pain in the butt. I'm at 196 now, villagers. And, yeah. Blue has 49 villagers, 144, 145 military. That's a lot of military. And Red's base is just getting cleaned up. At this point, I feel like any normal person would go ahead and just call it. But I respect people that fight on. It also can make the win a little bit more enjoyable. I hate when some people give up too quickly. But then you have the other far extreme where people, you know, go wall a villager in somewhere in the corner of the map. And Blue's sending his military to handle Yellow's military. Won't last much longer. And I wonder if he's sending these villagers in to get killed so he has more space, maybe? Looks like it. Or is it for production buildings? Oh yeah, okay, he's gonna continue building production buildings. Well, most of the villagers are gonna get shot. At least a good portion of them. And the armies are just passing. Hey guys, don't mind me, I'm just passing. One of the reasons why I decided to cast this game, besides using a strat of slinging, which isn't like something that's very common, like extreme slinging, is also just like, how often do you get to see war elephants on both teams? Elite battle elephants versus elite war elephants. Like, how cool is that? Maybe it's because I grew up with Age of Empires 1. I don't know. But there's just something that's cool about playing with elephants. They're badass. They look badass. Who doesn't love that? It's one of the most important rules in life, right? Look badass. And the last TC for Red goes down. Oh yeah, that's why. I forgot. So Vlad told me, because I was like, "Hey, what are you doing with your villagers?" He got the sapper tech, I believe, so that way they have additional attack against buildings, because you might as well. He's got 155 military, and look at that, 200 villagers. I've got 200 villagers, nothing else, just 200 villagers. And look at those farms. Wow. That's just insane. Massive eco. Massive production buildings. They played well, but it's just not going to be enough. Speed it up a little bit here. And another thing, I don't know if I've ever gotten sappers in my life. Like, if that isn't fun, just see something different. See something unusual. As I'm such a greedy resource person, getting this last 300 gold here, just why not? Pushing into Yellow's base. The end is near. And he's off pretty much all his resources. The only place he's still collecting resources is in this far corner. And look at this guy. Is he going to give up? No, he's going to drop a million, well, not a million, 8 archery ranges. Because that's what heroes do. Good job, Nam Long DL. You're my hero. Fighting to the bitter end. And Blue keeping inconsistent. says, thanks for playing, guys. Where are you fellas from? Yeah, Red spawns Vietnam. Sapperville's coming in here. Vlad says he's an Aussie. Oh, and yeah, how about this? For whatever reason, let me get one of Blue's. For whatever reason, Red decided he was going to sneak a villager all the way to the corner of Blue's base, build a monastery, and hide a villager behind it. I'm not sure why. So we have to research spies at some point? I don't know. And elite skirms are just not gonna be enough. I don't care if you have 92 of them queued up. It's not gonna be enough against elite battle elephants, especially when your house and can't produce more. And yeah, Red has a second villager somewhere.
But nay.
And Yellow says, nice game. I'm trying to figure out where the other villager is. He has it somewhere. Is it in here? No, it's not in here. Oh! Red has got a villager under one of my TCs here. And then, finally, the GG. Yeah, so one villager hiding under my TC, another villager hiding above Blue's base behind a monastery. So yeah, there you go, guys. Let's take a look at the statistics real quick. And yeah, military. So almost 1,400 kills for Blue, 1,600 deaths, but it doesn't matter because we kept the pressure on them and just pushed them back. The economy, unsurprisingly, was all in my favor. And so there you go. 41, so 341 resources shy of 200,000 resources sent. And that means I probably actually sent more before I got the banking tech and coinage and all that, whatever, where it doesn't cost as much to go to them. But look at those timelines. Just pure vills, just a tiny little bit of military at certain points. And almost all military for Blue. So hopefully you guys enjoyed watching something different, something fun. 695 two-handed swordsmen created, 317 trash bows created. But there you go. That's it, guys. We'll catch you later.